Any old girlfriends out there?
Oh, now we're coming. We're on live now.
Bill, they're all going to be old.
Very well said.
All right, are we ready? All right, welcome everyone to our special city council meeting for May 17th. Could we have a roll call to establish quorum, Madam Clerk?
Melissa Green.
Here.
Harry Myers.
Present.
Laura Jo Smoley.
Here.
Bill Ott.
Here.
Terry McClung.
I'm here.
And Autumn is absent with notice.
All right, if we could do it. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this is a special meeting of the City Council, and the purpose of the meeting is to nominate and select a member of the City Council for the Planning Commission. If I might have a motion to discuss.
So move.
Second.
Recently, it's come to my attention that we have had several items come up before the Planning Commission. We have 4 people on the Planning Commission right now. One case last week, one of the persons abstained, and one of the person had a family emergency and wasn't able to attend for the last couple of weeks, or last couple of meetings, which left them without a quorum. The Planning Commission has got several issues coming before it that they need to be able to have a quorum to vote. Well, not only a quorum, but they need to have members who aren't abstaining or have a conflict in being able to vote. So it was pointed out to me that we still have 2 vacancies. And what I'd like to do is nominate Melissa Green to fill that position until we can get another citizen or 2 citizens
Move to accept.
on there. But anyway, Lord Joe.
I have a comment on the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, before we vote. Unless something has been passed last year that supersedes it, in the Planning Commission, Title 13, terms of members, the commission shall be composed of 7 members, none of whom shall hold any other municipal office or appointment, except membership on the Board of Adjustment or a joint planning agency. So,
We do have a special ordinance that allows a member of the City Council to be on the Planning Commission.
okay, that happened last year?
Or 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
3 years
okay.
ago.
So that's covered.
Several years ago.
Yeah, we put Mickey on.
Yeah.
And then you said this would be temporary?
Until we can get somebody else more people to be on there, correct.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's permanent until we get somebody else. And then I think Melissa, and normally what we do at that time, the City Council member usually steps down to allow citizens to participate. Mr. McClung?
Well, I was just going to say that Melissa has a commitment with CAPC, so maybe it would be better if LJ was willing to do it, because she has experience on there too. But she, I don't know if she's interested in doing that or not.
Haven't thought about it, to be honest, but if it's temporary.
Well, either one. It doesn't, as long as we get somebody on there.
Well, I would make a motion that for LJ, if she's willing to do it, that we,
Doesn't matter.
for the commitment, to be committed.
I feel committed sometimes.
You gotta admit, Melissa, what's going on with the CAPC right now. It's
Yeah.
gonna take some time.
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, I don't know if my motion was in order or not, but there's a motion on the floor. So
Well, we didn't get a second.
Yeah, we didn't get a second.
And
I'll second
member
Terry.
didn't make the motion anyway, so
Terry, Bill made a motion, but there wasn't a second. Terry made a motion, and was there a second? Did Harry make a second?
Yeah,
All right. Is there any further discussion? I guess, Lord Joe, are you willing to do this on a semi-permanent, temporary basis until we get other
Yes, as
people
long as
to-
there's relief in sight.
Okay. Any other further discussion?
point of inquiry.
Okay.
Are you willing to have your name withdrawn, or you still want to be on it?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I've, probably have the most experience, but it does not matter to me one way or
Okay,
another.
well, right now you got two motions on the floor.
No, we didn't get a second to yours,
Yours wasn't second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought someone did. I apologize.
so,
So then I rescind my motion.
all right. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, let's do a roll call. Just
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
Laura Jost Mole,
Abstain?
I don't think you have to.
Terry McClung,
Yes,
Bill Lott,
Aye.
401.
All right.
Okay.
There being no other business for this special meeting, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the Eureka Springs Hospital Commission's regular meeting today, May 17th at 6 p.m. We will establish a quorum. I'm here, Ty Burden.
Kent Turner, Treasurer.
Angie Shaw, CEO.
Rick C., CFO.
They're going to, Barbara Dix.
Leva Murphy.
April Griffith.
Very good, so we have quorum. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the regular meeting, April 19th, 2021?
I move approval.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we will accept the minutes as written from the April 19th, 2021 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes for the special meeting, May 1st, 2021?
Yes.
If so, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I move approval.
Second?
Second.
All of those in favor say aye.
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 All of those opposed? So we will accept the minutes from May 1st, 2021. Doesn't look like we have public comment tonight. We do have one member of the press, Samantha. So in that case, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
I passed out the sheet to everyone, just the highlights, the checking account, we have $17,019.01 in that account. The only thing that has been used out of that account was check 1201, which was $20 for Ozark Lock and Key. The money market account did have some additions to it, $243,572.62, bringing a balance of $1,446,139.97. That comes from the interest deposits of $472.62 and our LHC group annual payment of $243,100. We did get interest in April on the CD of $2,148.99, leaving a balance of $433,597.31.
Very good. Any questions or discussion for Kent? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. I can start with Quad C. Most of the things we've covered in Quad C will be covered, as I see, by the CEO report tonight. The only thing I might add is that we did execute a final contract to Bill Couch in the virtual CFO position. And Kent, do you have a financial committee report?
I do. We've had numerous things going on. In addition to the contract with Bill, we signed a temporary employment agreement with Roger Bowen. He's a specialist in MedHost. He is on site this week. He came in yesterday and will be on site this week, helping us go through the data and try to figure out where we're at and what we need to do. Just today alone, I'm real pleased with it. He spent most of the day just literally going through the data. And the feedback I got this afternoon, I'm very pleased with what he's finding and where he's going with it. So, and he will be here, as I say, he will be here all week. And we will have ability to him. We signed a 90-day temporary employment agreement with him, but that's only based upon what we ask him to do. So he'll get paid for this week, and then anything further from that will be based upon our asking him to do something else.
Okay. Any questions or discussion for the Finance Committee? Okay, Leva, do you have a Marketing Committee report?
Kat's been working hard on branding and updating signage.
Great.
And we observed honoring the hospital workers this past week. And I would let Angie give whatever details she needs about that, but everything's looking good.
Okay, sounds great. Anyone have any questions or discussions for Leva? If not, we'll move on to the CEO report.
Okay. I did hand out copies of my printed out. I figured that would be good for you guys to look at as we go through.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll start with just where we are with COVID-19 and vaccinations. There's been a lot of news articles regarding masks and so forth. I just wanted to let you know that the hospital is continuing to follow the CDC and the Arkansas Hospital Association guidelines at this time. Of course, we're still requiring masks, and we're encouraging vaccines for all employees. Positive tests have continued to fall in the past weeks for our facility. We have not seen that very many positives. What we do get, we are completing daily reporting to the state and federal authorities, and that is regarding positive cases as well as vaccinations given. To date, we've given over 2,000 total vaccines. We are working with the local school districts to give vaccines to students. We have had one vaccine clinic for ages 16 and up, and with the new Pfizer guidelines, we are going to start vaccinating 12 and up. And we actually have a clinic scheduled for this Thursday here in Eureka Springs at the school.
A quick question. Do we still have, somebody asked me today, do we still have public vaccines available?
We do.
Okay.
And we are posting those dates and times on our website. Actually, we will open up the vaccine clinic Thursday once we get back from the school. We'll be doing school in the morning and then have community vaccines in the afternoon at the hospital.
Excuse me, is that mic on? Can you see, is that mic on?
Well,
Is there blue?
oh,
There we go, much better.
I guess it was just the light glowing blue through it, because it looked like it was on just a second ago. Okay, so moving on to nursing, swing bed, and respiratory therapy. The nursing department has seen many promotions of staff recently. Our new CNO is Larissa Nance. She stepped into the role last month. We promoted Amber Leby, who is also an RN, into the case manager swing bed director program, and Darla Methvin has stepped up to be the ER director at this time. Due to these changes in those roles and promotions, we've had some new openings, so we've been able to hire new nurses to take over those open positions. So we're going to see some new faces. Swing bed, our days have been low. We're going to combat that trend with marketing to our outlying local facilities, let them know that our swing bed program is still up and running, and that's going to be local facilities, as well as we're going to reach out to facilities in Northwest Arkansas where we can get referrals from. I would like to welcome Greg, our respiratory therapist. He has started as of May 10th. I originally hired him several months ago, and he was completing a position in Baltimore, Maryland. So he is in town and has started as of last Monday, and he loves Eureka Springs, and he was ready to be out of the big city. He's been able, just in the short week he's here, has been educating staff on the use of vents and working with them to see what our further needs are, as well as with patients, of course. And our patient satisfaction surveys have been positive regarding the care they're receiving at the hospital. The ER census is trending up. We had seen a lower number since COVID hit last year compared to previous years. And as of this, actually April, we had a really great month. We're up 44% compared to last year. And as I was looking back through all of the April months, this has been the highest April that we've had since before 2012.
Very good.
So right now we're admitting 10% for the year of our ER patients into the nursing floor.
That's good.
You know, due to COVID, a lot of training has been put on hold, and some of that is starting to resume. We have a big TNC class, which is a trauma nurse core course. We have all of our ER nurses taking that course here the first part of June. I'm trying to get all that training caught back up since they were all put on hold. And our ER satisfaction rates are continuing to be positive, so that's been a wonderful news so far. In lab, the Cepheid machine has been up and running. We continue to use it for COVID testing. Since it is in-house, we no longer have to send out COVID tests to our resource lab. So that's been good. You know, usually we'd have to wait 3 days for
up to 3 days for a positive to come back, and now it's within an hour and 45 minutes, I believe. Tina, our lab director, continues to work with our physicians on tests that they would like to see available in-house. Since the lab remodel, we've been able to bring in several pieces of new equipment, and with that, there's been some new testing ability that we've never had before. So we've just been going through different tests to figure out what's going to work for our patients. The Radiology Department has decreased their ultrasound echoes report return times to 24 hours. We had gone through an issue with a company that had read our reports. It was taking anywhere from several days up to weeks for us to get our results back. And they've switched to a new company, and we're getting them within 24 hours. Regarding clinic and specialist through the hospital, I've been in contact with a cardiologist, Dr. Tandon, out of Northwest Arkansas, and he is planning on using our clinic. He wants to start opening clinic the second Monday of every month there at the 25 Norris facility. We have a tentative start date for him to start seeing patients on June 15th, if all works out. He is a board-certified general and interventional cardiologist. And of course, Dr. Hull and Dr. Wilson still continue to use that clinic space. Dr. Jeff Bell continues to use our endoscopy suite for colonoscopy and EGD procedures. He's coming just once per month. Those cases are increasing. We were able to get a CRNA for those procedure days, and due to CNR being there, we were able to increase our patient capacity. It's been great for the patients as well as Dr. Bell.
Can I ask one question? Sorry. Is Dr. Camp still coming to the clinic?
He has not been in several months.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he said that the business just, it wasn't there.
Wasn't there for him? Okay.
Financials, I'll let Brent give that report when we get to that. The HIM department, actually I missed a whole section. Let me go back to the business office. As you'd mentioned, Mr. Couch will be coming on board and act as our CFO. I believe he will be actually in-house next week and assist with cleaning up our accounting side, and then he'll eventually go virtual. And you also mentioned that our MedHost specialist was here, and he, just speaking with him today, I agree, he's put some minds at ease with what he's found so far. So I think this is going to be a good relationship. Kimberly in AR, she's continuing to work closely with MedHost to make sure our billing is timely and payments are being entered, as well as she's been calling a lot of the insurances regarding reimbursements and making sure they're coming in on a timely manner. So she is working very hard at that. Gail in AP, her processes are running smoothly and there are no issues at this time. And we did create an accounting manager position. It has been posted and we are getting some applications in on that. We'll start interviews this week. And then the HIM department, as you know, Bree has kind of been our accounts business office manager. She has stepped into the role of the HIM director position, and she will be taking over those duties soon. She's kind of in the transition. She'll be helping as well with the business office as well as HIM. And then we were also able to bring in a full-time coder. That position had been open since November, and we actually had outsourced our coding. So they are in-house. They've been there a few weeks now, and our plans are to take coding back in-house here in the next couple months as she gets acquainted with our systems. HR has been attending local career fairs to educate the community about our facility and current open positions. That seems to be going well. I think there's several this month that she will be attending, and so hopefully that will help us with our open positions. Marketing, of course, with COVID, there was a lot of restrictions put down on personal marketing where we could go into the facilities. That is starting to open back up. So we are going to start focusing on getting case management, myself and Catherine, kind of out in the communities and let them know more about our facility and that we are available to them should they need us. And as Leva mentioned, Catherine has been working on rebranding for the facility. She's looking at new logos, colors, among other items, signage, and that's all in the works. So you should see some new changes along the roadside soon. The next section, maintenance. Maintenance has begun remodeling the old lab area into offices for both respiratory therapy as well as patient registration. And the repair of the back ramp continues. This week, this morning, they were supposed to pour the cement walkway and placement of the railings, cement walkway for placement of the railings. And due to the weather, it has caused some delays. So hopefully if it will calm down, we will be able to get that completed this week or next. So far, it looks real good. We're able to widen it and make it the right grade, so we will be up to specs. Housekeeping continues to be an open position that we are actively advertising for. All clinical staff has stepped up to assist in this area. And just a side note for IT, Drew has worked to bring in a new digital faxing program to take place of our outdated system, and from my understanding, it's going well. Our faxes are actually going through like they're supposed to. It has been a headache until this. Kind of a new section, Community Works, kind of lets you know where we are involved with the community. Of course, we've been hosting all of the community vaccines through the hospital, and those have been no-cost vaccines. We were recently able to donate yearbooks to the graduating seniors at Eureka Springs High School, and that was much appreciated. And we also were involved in a program for this last semester called Adopt a Senior, and it's regarding a senior at the high school. We adopted them and just kind of showered them with some love since it's been a rough year for them. Of course, through our COVID clinics, we've been able to increase our Arkansas Saves, which is our stroke program, education to the community, along with our trauma program information. So the clinics have been very useful for getting information out there to the community. And I know, Leva, you kind of touched on it, but last week was hospital week, so we had a celebration every day of the week. I know we had multiple meals and catered and ice cream socials. We had a blessing of the hands on Monday, which was nice. And then we ended the week off with a barbecue for staff that was put on by the hospital, and as well as the directors brought side dishes and so forth. So it was nice to be able to come together again, and it's been a long year, so something nice to have. And we've got a lot of good compliments from the staff about it. They enjoyed everything that was brought to the table. Any questions for me?
Questions or discussion for Angie? Okay, very good. Thanks, Angie. Appreciate that report. Brent, would you please give us the CFO report?
Sure. If you could look at your handout and go to page 2, look at the profit and loss statement. So in April, our revenues were $516,000. That was down 7.7% compared to March. However, when you look at 2021 average month so far year to date, it was much closer, only 0.7 below the average. So not bad there. On the expenses, they look high, $677,000 in expenses, but it was really caused by some timing issues. First, we had 3 payroll cycles that did hit in May, and of course, payroll is one of the biggest expense line items that we have. We also had 3 accounting charges that are timed with the payroll, And then we had 2 health insurance charges, one hit the beginning of the month and one at the end. So we basically got 2 months charges there in the month of May. Finally, the last thing I'll point out is down at the very bottom, I've added a new category for capital expenditures. You see that $4,878. That's the replacement of the ductwork. I wanted to put it here on this report just for visibility, but that'll actually go to the balance sheet, be capitalized, and then depreciated over 7 years.
Okay.
If you go on to page 4, look at the cash balances. We ended up at the end of April with $1,281,847. That was down 9.9% from the March ending balance, primarily due to the expenditures that we had that came into the month of April that we just talked about. And then finally, let's go to page 5. And, this is the revenue, so these are the billings. Billings were quite strong in April, almost $1.2 million. That was up 23.4% versus March. And comparing to last year in April, it's up 112.1%. Obviously, last year being impacted with COVID. But then if you look at year-to-date, for the first 4 months of the year compared to last year, we're up 41.8%. So pretty strong numbers there. Any questions?
Our billing seems to be getting stronger and stronger in the hospital in general, and providing more service to the community, but yet on this month, it seems, that we were actually down on collections a little bit. Could you go into just a little bit the reason why that was?
I will need to dig into that to try to get some better visibility to that. Right now, with the way our systems are, it's hard to get visibility on the revenues and the receivables. So I need to do some further digging, and maybe with some of the resources Ken's brought in, we can try to get better visibility to that.
Okay.
I
And
know.
Angie, you have a little bit to add on that?
I know, I actually talked to the billing department about that, and those billings that went, or the revenues were coming in were from billings that kind of took place back from January and February. We had the ice storm, we had some different things that our revenue was just not where, we just didn't have the patients, our census were low. So they said that was a lot to do with it.
Okay. And I understand we had some coding issues until we got the new coder. We were holding back
Yes,
a few of those bills, as well as quite a bit of colonoscopy
Right.
billings that
Right.
may have made some difference there.
There was several surgery days that had not been billed out because we did not have a transcriptionist to complete that, and we got them on board. It was all completed, and those billings have now been sent out.
Okay,
So we
great.
should see that.
So hopefully next month we'll see some improvement.
Yes.
Great, excellent. Any other questions or discussion for Brent? If not, we are absent a secretary currently. At the workshop, we did discuss it with April Griffith, and she said that she would be okay with possibly becoming secretary, but we could not do that because that was not a regular meeting. So would someone like to make a motion for the secretary position at this time?
I'll make a motion that we ask April Griffith to be our secretary.
I second.
All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed? All right, congratulations, April, you're our new secretary. The next item, we need to discuss the new CFO, Bill Couch, that we have just hired and executed the contract with on some of his duties. And primarily, we need to discuss whether or not we want to give him the ability to transfer funds, which has been kind of the usual way that we've done it. So I would assume that we would want to continue with that. Would anybody like to start with a motion to grant Bill Couch the ability to transfer funds as the CFO?
I make a motion that we allow Bill Couch to transfer funds as the CFO.
I second.
Second, yeah.
All of those in favor say aye.
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 All of those opposed?
Mr. Chairman, in line with that, we probably have more accounts that will be affected, so we need to make sure that we're probably going to have to get some different signatories. I mean, you're adding people to the accounting function now, so
That's true, yeah.
we probably, banks won't take it unless they're specific, so but we'll need to watch that, so we'll have to make sure we get those taken care of, because they will need to pick up
Okay.
that slack.
And so should we have April become a signatory as well?
She would be
Is it-
as secretary.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and get it all. Do we need to have that in the minutes, or just being
Yes.
secretary
Yeah.
is adequate?
You have to have it in a minute.
We have
Okay.
to have it in the minutes, and we have to have it that we have hired Bill Couch, and he can transfer money and sign checks for the hospital operating account with two signatures, either a chair, he and a commissioner, or two commissioners. That's how it's set up. And that April will become a signer, and that
What,
we...
do you want to make that first one a motion?
Yeah.
Maybe, what you just said?
Yeah,
Okay, do I have to say it again?
No,
April, did you get what she said, or?
What I got was that Kent made a motion to allow
Bill Couch.
Bill Couch, our new CFO, to transfer funds and sign checks for hospital operating accounts with two signatures from the hospital commission.
Okay,
is that
yeah.
a motion?
Well, he
Well-
moved to transfer funds, and then Barbara outlined more specific.
And I'd be happy to amend my original motion.
Yeah,
to
let's
include
do that.
Okay?
So,
And I'll second.
so Kent will amend his original motion to what April just stated. Barbara will amend her second. All of those in favor of the new motion, say aye.
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 All of those opposed? So we will accept the new motion.
And then we need to, I need to make a motion that April Griffith will become a signer on our checking accounts for the hospital and the commission. And what's the rest of it? Become
I
a
think that's
signer,
it.
and that we take Jean Reed off of the accounts.
Yeah,
I second.
And Scott and
okay.
Brent.
Well, do you want to give a date on, I mean, Brent's still with us.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
leave him.
Let's leave that part of the motion
Okay.
off, if that's okay for now. We can handle that much later.
Okay.
Because he still may need to do that in the
Yeah.
short term.
Yeah, he would, yes.
Okay. So April, would you mind reading back that motion that Barbara?
Barbara moved to make April Griffith a signatory for checking accounts for the hospital and the commission, and remove Jean Reed and Scott from the accounts.
Take
And she wants
Scott
to
out.
strike Scott.
Strike
from-
Scott,
Strike Scott?
Strike that out.
Okay.
and I'll second.
And you'll second? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed? Okay, so we'll have that. Now, we did April's motion, right? Okay, very good. Anything else around this area of getting into the minutes what we need for the bank?
I think we're fine right now.
Think we're good right now?
I think so, too. I had it all
Okay.
written down, but I left it at home.
No,
Okay.
I think we're fine right now.
Think we're good? Okay, very good. So the next item on the agenda is the possible demolition of the Brown House in order to open up more parking space for the hospital. Would anybody like to make a motion so that we can start discussion?
I make a motion that we look into demolition, that word,
Demolition?
demolition of the Brown House.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion.
Okay. I've done quite a bit of work since the workshop on that. I have a bit of a concern about, first of all, the motion we just made is not any good because we don't have the authority to do that. That's city property, and the city of Eureka Springs has to make that decision. It's not our decision to make.
Okay.
Okay,
But on going through all of this, we paid $140,000 for that property. Of that $140,000, a material portion of that would have been for that building. So if we demolish that building, we're destroying value of that property considerably. Now, based upon the pictures I've seen, granted, I need to go over and take a look at that. That building doesn't look that bad in that bad of condition. I think we need to be careful before we just decide to demolish that. And then I looked at the layout. I've looked at the layouts of the property. There's still room to do our circle drive, I believe, in front of that building, and then you could make a driveway and have parking space beside the building, because the building sits on the very back edge of that piece of property. It doesn't set on the front, it sits on the very back edge. So we have all of that property in front of it.
Okay.
So to me, I promised that I would draw up the specs for the demolition, and I didn't do that because I don't think we're capable of making that decision, and two, once I look, it's not a bad building, and I will tell you that it's of the $140,000, it probably was $100,000 of the value of the property.
Okay. So maybe we should go ahead and, I can ask if anybody's in favor, I guess. It sounds like probably not. So maybe we should just go ahead and table that for the next workshop now that you've had a chance to look at it more, and we'll have a lot more details at the workshop than we had last workshop.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk to the city, because I don't know what the process of getting a building destroyed on city property is.
Okay.
So that may be something more than any one of us are willing to go through.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're recommending, though, that maybe we don't destroy it, so I don't know if we need to find that out or
Yeah,
not.
I would certainly recommend evaluating whether or not that driveway can go without it, and we can still get some parking out of there. And we said at the workshop that building could house even the accounting function if it had to.
Right.
And unless it's deteriorated materially in the 2.5 years that we've had it, the pictures I saw of it were, the building's in relatively good condition.
Yeah, I thought so as well, yeah. Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor with a second, so is there any other discussion?
No.
Okay, so all of those in favor of the motion say aye. All of those opposed?
Nay.
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 Okay, so the motion fails. And I think we should pick this back up at the workshop.
I agree.
It requires a larger discussion at this time. Another thing that was discussed at the workshop was the directors and operators insurance for the hospital commission for at least a couple of years that I know of, and possibly longer. I don't know, Barbara and Leva would probably know that. There's been some discussion about getting a policy for the commission members. In the unforeseen event of a lawsuit that stems from our position here as individuals and as a commission, we don't see any lawsuits coming up. This is, totally unforeseen, but just because it is a large revenue generating facility in the area of healthcare, which has a lot of legal activity, that would make us all feel more comfortable. So just that little preface. Is there a motion that someone would like to make saying that we would just initiate getting the bids in order to evaluate whether or not we wanted to get D&O insurance?
I make a motion that we go out for bid on directors and officers liability insurance.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Before we go any further than that, we need to talk to Kim and the mayor's office about that. There was something in the past where parks bought insurance for their trail ride and had an accident, and because they had insurance, they did get sued. So we need to clarify that do we really need the insurance, or does it set us up for being sued?
Okay.
Do you want?
I don't disagree with that, but it doesn't do any harm to go out for bid. That doesn't mean that we're going to buy it. We ought to have an idea of what it costs. I also worry about, as we grow in number of employees, that also increases the liability for us. Obviously, I think you should probably discuss it with the mayor's office, and probably ought to discuss it with the municipal league to see what.
Yeah, and city attorney, yeah.
See what their issues are.
Okay, yeah, that all sounds like a great idea.
Do you want me to
Are we
do that?
okay with,
Do you want me to contact the mayor? about
Yeah,
this?
that would be great if you could look into that a little more. We do have the motion just to initiate the bids. Do we still want to go, it sounds like we probably want to, is there any further discussion about that?
Well, we could start it, and then with what he says, or municipal leagues.
Right.
The only reason I'm saying we should go ahead with the bids is because it may be so cost prohibitive that we can't afford it.
Yeah, that it won't matter anyway.
Right.
Good
I
point,
mean,
good point.
If it's $250,000 a year to insure us, then, we're probably not going to get insured.
Okay.
I have no clue what it might be.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is just to obtain bids. All of those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All of those opposed. So the motion does pass, and we will at least obtain some bids on directors and officers' insurance. Okay, commissioners' comments. Let's see, want to start with April this time? No comments? Okay. Leva? Barbara?
No.
Kent?
One comment, I watched the chair give his presentation to the city council, and I thought he did a very, very, very nice job with the city council. I think the city council asked some good questions, not greatest questions, but good questions, but I thought he did an excellent job of answering those questions, and I thought we were well represented before the city council.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Okay, of course I always have a comment, right? But I just wanted to give a report on the status of the finances that I did state in my presentation to City Council. One thing I really wanted to clarify is that the hospital employees, although they are city employees, they are not paid by the city. And the funding for the hospital payroll comes entirely from hospital funds. So I just wanted to make the clarification that the city is not having to pay our employees. Also, when I mentioned that we've inherited a financial accounting system that is disorganized and difficult to use, I think in this meeting you can see that even this week right now, we are working to fix that. We plan to have that fixed in very short order in the very near future. So this is not a problem that we accept for the long term. I also, just in my frankness and transparency during that presentation, I think some folks may have took that as quite a bleak picture, but I just wanted to point out that we have many, many, many opportunities with the hospital. The deficits that we're experiencing right now, I think will easily be made up even by the end of the year, and that we will be on a very good footing. So I was just trying to be very frank and transparent in that, but the future really does look bright for the hospital. Now, the structural difficulties that we're experiencing took years to get to those structural problems, and it's going to take a while to take care of that. We're going to go down our checklist of repairs and maintenance and do what we can and what needs to be done over the course of this year. And I'm hoping at the start of next year that we'll start discussing some major structural revisions to the hospital. So also, I just want to remind everyone that we are down 2 commissioners right now. So if anybody is interested in being a hospital commissioner, we would greatly welcome the application. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Nay. We are adjourned.